If your life feels incomplete without the pleasure of chocolate, consider yourself fortunate for not being born prior to the 16th century. Prior to that time, chocolate only existed in Mesoamerica in a form quite distinct from what we are familiar with today. As early as 1900 BCE, the inhabitants of that region had acquired the knowledge to process the beans of the native cacao tree. Historical evidence indicates that these beans were ground and blended with cornmeal and chili peppers to produce a stimulating and bitter beverage, which was far from the soothing cup of hot cocoa we enjoy today. Instead, it was a vigorously effervescent concoction, brimming with foam. And if you thought we were really enthusiastic about chocolate nowadays, the Mesoamericans had us completely beat. According to their beliefs, cacao was considered a divine sustenance bestowed upon humanity by a mythical feathered serpent god. The Mayans referred to this deity as Kukulkan, while the Aztecs knew him as Quetzalcoatl. The Aztecs even went as far as using cacao beans as a form of currency, indulging in chocolate during royal feasts, rewarding soldiers with it for triumphant accomplishments on the battlefield, and incorporating it into religious ceremonies. It was in the year 1519 that the first significant encounter with chocolate took place across the Atlantic, during Hernán Cortés' visit to the court of Moctezuma in Tenochtitlan. According to the records of Cortés's lieutenant, the king presented 50 jugs of the beverage, which were then poured into cups made of gold. Upon the return of the colonists with shipments of this novel and peculiar bean, the missionaries' scandalous descriptions of the customs of the native people bestowed upon it a reputation as an aphrodisiac. Initially, its bitter flavor rendered it suitable for medicinal purposes, particularly for relieving ailments such as upset stomachs. However, the addition of honey, sugar, or vanilla quickly transformed chocolate into a beloved delicacy within the Spanish court. Soon, every aristocratic household deemed it necessary to possess dedicated chocolate utensils as part of their complete setup. The production of this trendy beverage, however, was a challenging and time-consuming process on a large scale. It involved utilizing plantations and reliance on enslaved labor that was brought in from the Caribbean and islands off the coast of Africa. The chocolate industry witnessed a significant transformation in 1828 when Coenraad van Houten, an innovator from Amsterdam, introduced the cocoa press. Van Houten's invention allowed for the separation of cocoa's natural fat, known as cocoa butter. This process yielded a powder that could either be combined with other ingredients to create a drinkable solution or recombined with cocoa butter to produce the solid chocolate that we are familiar with today. Shortly after, a Swiss chocolatier named Daniel Peter revolutionized chocolate further by adding powdered milk to the mixture, thereby inventing milk chocolate. During the 20th century, chocolate transitioned from being an exclusive luxury to a popular indulgence enjoyed by the general public. To meet the escalating demand, cocoa cultivation expanded primarily in equatorial regions. Rather than African slaves being transported to South American cocoa plantations, the production of cocoa shifted to West Africa, with Côte d'Ivoire emerging as a leading provider, responsible for 2/5 of the world's cocoa supply as of 2015. However, the industry's expansion also brought forth severe violations of human rights. Numerous plantations in West Africa, which serve as suppliers for Western companies, employ slave and child labor, resulting in an alarming estimation of over 2 million children affected by these exploitative practices. This is a complex problem that persists despite the best efforts of big chocolate firms to collaborate with Africa to reduce child and bonded labor. Chocolate has made its mark by this modern day in the rights of our modern world. An Anglican missionary society which, due to its connection with the colonial native cultures coupled with advertising power, chocolate retains an aura of something sensual, decadent, and forbidden. But learning more about its interesting and often cruel history and its manufacture today tells us where these associations originate and what they hide. So as you unwrap your next bar of chocolate, just think about that for a half second. Well, not all chocolate is sweet.